world, what's going on? All thanks for tuning in once again, man. I appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping in. This is an all-time classic, this fight. This is an all-time classic, in terms of heavy hitters. Now, if you follow my channel, if you're tuned into my channel before, you should know by now I'm all about the heavyweights in terms of my most viewed division that I like to look into, is the heavyweights. That's the one that I look forward to the most because of the knockouts, because of the excitement of getting knocked down and things like that. Now, this is the light heavyweight unification fight, okay? But you got to keep in mind that this fight is two guys that are gifted punchers, two guys that have heavy hands. Although Beterbiev has a better knockout ratio than Joe Smith, I have to say that Joe Smith has a harder punch. I'll put it to you this way. I know that there's a lot of people out there that don't understand or don't know these fighters, and I understand that. I know I have a lot of viewers that don't really understand boxing or understand who's fighting who. I'll put it to you this way, okay? Think of it as a whiskey, and think of it as whiskey on the rocks, okay? Both of them give you a big hit, and this is what both of these fighters are gonna bring, big hits. Whiskey on the rocks is like, having a whiskey but enjoying it, lasting the long night or long day, whenever time you're gonna have it, or long morning. You're looking to enjoy it. You're looking to stretch it out, possibly be there the longest. Where straight whiskey is, you're looking for, a hit, okay? And this is what I'm saying, with this fight here, Beterbiev is going to be the one with whiskey on the rocks. He's going to be taking his time. He's going to be, punishing Joe Smith, trying to break him down. And Joe Smith's going to be looking for that one hit, okay, that's going to change the fight around. Obviously, Joe Smith doesn't have that amateur background like Beterbiev, and this is why Beterbiev is a heavy favorite. And you got to understand, there's always a puncher's chance in boxing. Always, Think of it this way, you look at a guy like, just trying to relate to people that I'm not sure what I'm talking about. You look at a guy like, George Foreman, Muhammad Ali. I know everyone knows who that is. And then you look at a guy like Ernie Shavers, a guy that entered the ring later, a guy that boxed later, a guy that didn't really have an amateur career. But then you ask the top heavyweights who hits the hardest, and they're going to say Ernie Shavers. This is the same as Joe Smith. I can guarantee you that the fighters will say that Joe Smith hits the hardest. There's no doubt about that. Joe Smith has fought and knocked down Bernard Hopkins, when people thought, or people could say it was a push. Obviously, in my opinion, it wasn't. And he's shown that he does have that power, that power. And even though Hopkins was inactive, you could say he was aging late. He was one of the oldest one of the oldest champions of the world, okay? So, in terms of who punches the hardest, I would have to say Joe Smith. But I have to say that Beterbiev has that, you could say, that Klitschko vibe with him, Vitaly Klitschko, where he had the amateur career and he was winning in the amateur career, and then, he turned professional and he hurts you, he breaks you down. That's the sort of fighter that Beterbiev is, Every round that you go in against him, he's going to break you down, he's going to hurt you with the punches, But Joe Smith has a different form of hurt, Joe Smith has a stun hurt, he's going to stun you, okay? There's two differences here. And you gotta also keep in mind, Beterbiev has been on the floor before, okay? He's been knocked down before, and that was due to an exchange, okay? So, if they're going to exchange, then Joe Smith has a hell of a chance to put him down, a hell of a chance. I think that Joe Smith will have to win by knockout. I don't see him winning by decision, even if he puts him down. Like I said, his amateur career isn't as great as Beterbiev's, okay? But that being said, I'm still putting it as a 60-40 fight and in favour of Beterbiev, but I'm going for Joe Smith. I like to go for the puncher, and I believe that, he's been improving, and it's not like he's coming off a loss. I know that he did lose to Bobble, but, he's turned around and he's been active. I believe his last fight was in January this year. To my knowledge, I may be wrong, mistaken me if I am, sorry, correct me if I am, I should say. But in terms of great fights, in terms of exciting fights, this is the one to watch. We look at the heavyweight landscape right now, there's a possibility that Usyk may win, and we might not see knockouts or knockdowns from a Usyk versus Fury fight, So, this was probably the number one fight in terms of heavy hitters, for unification. Winner challenges Bivol, and obviously we know that Bivol doesn't have heavy hands, so it should be a great fight. It should be a great fight. I believe that Joe Smith will have to prove that he can handle Beterbiev's shots, and Beterbiev's going to have to be careful, because I know that if Smith tags him and lands the right shot, he will put him down. Like I said, he's been put down before. Joe Smith, regardless of the knockout ratio percentage, I know Beterbiev's is high, but Joe Smith for sure does have a harder punch. Like I said, Ernie Shavers is an example. If you're unfamiliar with these fighters, look at Shavers versus Foreman, and Foreman saying, you know what, man, Shavers hits the hardest. You know what I mean? And that's just how it is. Even though on paper it may look like, Beterbiev's he's got the amateur career, he's got the knockout ratio, he's got, the odds are heavily against him. At the end of the day, you got to acknowledge that Joe Smith does have that one punch power, and he can land it, and possibly he can knock out Beterbiev outside of the ring. You never know. You never know. If Joe Smith handles Beterbiev's punches, and I'm going to say this, I believe that Smith's going to have to hurt him early as well. You can't allow Beterbiev to gain momentum, But the thing about Smith is, against Bivol, he was sort of, losing that momentum. So, that's why I say you've got to hurt him early, because I believe Beterbiev gains momentum, where Smith sort of loses it in the later rounds. This is just my opinion. From fights that I've seen from him, like against Bivol. But that being said, I haven't seen Beterbiev challenge anybody at a great status, that's highly ranked. I did see him fight Usyk in the amateurs, and Usyk did outbox him. Usyk did outbox him. Go check that out. But this is definitely not going to be an outboxing match. It's going to be punch for punch. Like I said, whiskey on the rocks against the whiskey. Who's determined to take the bigger hits? Like I said, if Beterbiev's looking for a long night, whiskey on the rocks, and he's going to have a long night and try to break him down, but he may be caught from a hard shot, from a hard shot from the straight whiskey. This is just an example I'm trying to, explain to the people that don't understand, but I hope that you get what I'm saying, and I'm looking forward to it, man. Like I said, it's going to be an all-time classic. It's going to be one of the best, I reckon, fights of the year. Obviously, we're still waiting for the Spence Crawford, but in terms of heavy hitters, I believe this is the fight to watch, man. Thanks for tuning in once again, man. I appreciate it. Leave your take. If you enjoy the content, hit the red button, man, And thanks for the support. Look forward to the feedback, man. Peace. Have a good one. Enjoy the fight. It's fight weekend. God bless. Have a good one.